if I would look back on my life, like if I'd look back maybe like 5 or 10 years or more, I think I saw myself as being a very capable person, the kind of person. I was quite strong, I was quite resilient. I was doing a lot of projects, I was getting loads done. And that was how I went through life. I was like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm doing all right. And then I got to this point, probably kind of getting towards my mid 40s, where I started to these cracks started to show. Um, and I think I would associate a lot of that with perimenopause and my hormones changing. But to me, that was what it revealed to me, because I started getting some increasingly bad anxiety. And to start off with, I was like, well, I don't even know what I'm feeling anxious about. But it got worse and worse, and I would have periods of depression. It culminated in me having to take a few months off sick, signed off by the doctor, because I literally just couldn't function in life. And I've got a family, I've got 2 teenage daughters, and I live with my partner. So I've got support around me, but I've also got a lot of responsibilities. So I was suddenly feeling like I can't cope with life anymore. I can't cope with the things I've always been quite able and quite capable to cope with. And it was unsettling. And I just thought, I don't know if I can go on. And frankly, sometimes I even felt bouts of, I wouldn't say suicidal, but I would say that I was kind of doubting that there was a place for me in this world anymore. And what can I do? So, and actually, if I looked back further, I could see, and I think that this hormonal change taught me a lot, actually. And I decided not to go for HRT because I thought, this is teaching me something. I'm learning something about myself here. And I look back and I thought, actually, I've been really good at coping all these years, but really what I've been doing is I've been holding myself together really tightly and going, I'm a good person, I'm capable, I can do all this stuff. But it was kind of quite from a place of kind of quite intense personal pressure, actually, to do well in life and be responsible and be good. And I'd had various meditation practices for quite a few years. I've been involved in a Tibetan Dzogchen group for quite a few years, and then more recently another one. So I've been practicing different forms of meditation. I always felt like somehow, even though I was doing that, I kind of felt like, oh, I'm doing this, one day it'll work. But I felt like I'd always get to a certain point where I couldn't go any deeper. So something was always blocking me from really, I was like, I think I intellectualized everything way too much. So, and I was trying all these practices to try and de-intellectualize myself. And the other thing that would happen is I'd kind of I might have done like breathing exercises. I worked with a psychotherapist who gave me lots of breathing exercises to do, as well as some kind of positive affirmations to do. So I was doing all this stuff. And what else? I mean, I did some voice workshops that were kind of, sometimes I'd do things and it would help for a bit. It would kind of expose me to this like feeling of like, yeah, I'm in the present moment, everything's okay, I relax. But then it would quite quickly come back in. I'd come home, I'd come back in the daily life, and suddenly all the barriers and the kind of control and the responsibility would all come back in, and I'd be like, the armor would go back on again. And then I'd always be like, oh no, you mustn't open yourself up too much, keep the armor on, you've got to be strong to be in this world. I think it was just like a fear of letting my barriers down. I wanted to be more open. I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to sing. I wanted to show my vulnerability. And sometimes I could do that really well. But then it was like the moment after, I'd kind of go into this fear mode of like, what have you done? You've let too much. You've let people in too much. You've exposed yourself too much. And then I'd kind of want to curl up in bed.
And would you, is that what you did? Yeah. So you go to bed as a kind of coping mechanism.
Yeah, I remember
a
few years ago speaking at a conference, and I spoke so eloquently and so confidently. And afterwards, I went and sat down and had this really clear feeling. I just wanted to shoot myself in the head.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was like, you've really like, you went up there, you were so arrogant, you really like showed off, you like you this, you did that. You shouldn't have let yourself go in that way. Like, boom. I kind of felt, and that was where I kind of got to with my psychotherapist as well. The underlying theme is like, I really want to be good. Yes. I want to be a good girl. I want to be a good person, get the right behavior, do good, raise my children in a responsible way, do good things in the world, create positive social change, all this. But it was quite from a place of I mean, I don't want to demean myself completely, you know, you know, I'm showing the worst bits of life, you know, like I've also had some kind of really open, like beautiful experiences. And like, I think there was this undercurrent of, even like with my Buddhist practice, I felt I'm trying to make myself a good person. I need to be a good person. I need to have a practice that's, you know, gonna help me. Yeah, so I felt never good enough. Never good enough. I mean, I definitely had things that I enjoyed doing and wanted to do, but at the same time, I think I also felt quite like I would very easily go into supporting someone else with their project. And I think part of that was a fear. I had a bit of a fear for taking responsibility for my own things. It was a lot easier to kind of go, oh, that person wants to do that, and they really seem confident in what they want to do. If I help them with that, then that's a really good direction. So I ended up probably helping a lot of other people with things that they wanted to do, rather than kind of going, now, what is it that you actually, Anna, really want to do in your life? I mean, again, like I did do some amazing things that I did really want to do. So it wasn't completely, it's not like a black and white situation, but I could feel that a lot of my effort was going into keeping other people happy, or helping. It was safer to help meet someone else's needs than to meet my own, in a way. And I was a little fearful for like, what if I had met my needs completely? Then I'd have no excuses in life for not, like, I don't know, really flourishing or being free or something. And it was kind of, it felt a little bit easier to put my energy to someone else. So I came across RTT probably a bit more, about a year before I actually met you and started working with you, Betty. And I heard about it on a podcast, and I was researching at that time a lot of things about perimenopause, which was like, to me, like the dominant thing that was going on for me at that time. And I'd been having some psychotherapy, and then I heard a podcast, someone talking about using RTT, and I thought, oh my goodness, this really sounds like the thing that I need, because I felt like, oh, there's something in my past that's blocking me. I don't really know what it was. I knew something, because I knew, like, I'd lost my dad at a young age in traumatic circumstances, so I knew that there was something potentially there. And like last winter, I had a massive crash again. I was like, oh my God, I've gone right back to where I started from, like really deep depression, terrible anxiety. I thought, like, I thought I was doing so well, and I'm just right back. Something really, that was the really low point where I thought, I've got to really change something very deeply in myself, because no matter how much other work I'm doing, I keep just coming back to this point. And at that point, and I had come across the fact that you did this work a little bit previously, and I just knew, I just had this moment of insight, like, this is the only thing. And I just knew that you'd be the right person. I just knew from a conversation I'd had with you that, like, there's a reason why I've waited to this time, because you were the right person for me to work with, that's going to help me unlock this thing. And I picked up the phone and I said, help. So yeah, I think I came into the session, I was really open. I just knew this was going to be the thing. So I was so open to it. But at the same time, I remember at the beginning of the session, I said, actually, I'm really scared.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then so you got me dialoguing with this bit of myself, which I'd identified. And it was this kind of anxiety bit in the solar plexus. And I just felt it so strongly. And you got me talking to that bit, or talking like, what, you know, if you could talk to that, but I think this is how it went, you know, if you could talk to that part yourself. And then I was talking to myself as that part of me talking back to the other bit of me. It was a bit confusing, which was which, really. But it was like this part that was like in control, that was looking after me, that was telling me like how to keep safe all the time. So I don't know if it's like the conscious or the subconscious or the left brain or what, but it was like, it was a bit that was like protecting me, always looking out for the danger, and then like telling me to shut down, get out of here, like do this, say that. It was telling me, like, when I was talking to someone, it would be telling me what to say all the time. You know, you're doing well, you're doing well. I'd been thinking, do I have autism? Do I have something that's like, I'm always having to think about everything? But I basically was overthinking everything. So like I came into talking to this bit, and somehow I got into a dialogue, and we communicated. And I said, actually, I got to the place saying, I appreciate that you're there, but right, for this session, I kind of just need you to step aside and let me drop into like a deeper space where I can kind of like get my deeper wisdom. So like, just hang in there, but like, I'm going to go deeper. Something like that. So then, and then I'm just struggling to remember now, because it was a couple of months ago. So we went back to some different times in my life where this part of me had kind of started to kick in. And I was quite surprised. And I was surprised the things I went back to, some of them were things I had no concrete memory of. But it went back to a very early stage of my life, and I could then start to kind of understand and identify, oh yeah, that maybe that's why I've started to feel this kind of, and it was like about a weight of responsibility. It was about me taking a very strong feeling of responsibility that I had to be good, and I had to be responsible and take care of other people, and I had to really be on the lookout for anything that might be wrong from quite a young age. And kind of working through that and accepting all those circumstances that had led to that, working through that, then allowed me to come back and kind of like connect in with this part again, which I felt as a very physical, and I don't know how common this is for other people, but it felt so physical and so clear that this was the thing, that then I could then literally take it out of myself. And this wasn't what you guided me to do, but this is what I did. In the moment, I was by the sea, and I took it and I put it on a little raft, and it was like a warm tropical ocean, and it was sunset, and I sent it off into the waves, and I said, bye, I don't need you anymore. Thank you. You've really looked after me in my life. Thank you. And I don't need you anymore. And so you can go. I love you. And you can just go away. And it drifted away into the sunset. And I just felt this lightness.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Could not believe it.
Yeah.
But like an instantly, and I came out of the session, and you looked at me and you said, you look different.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at the beginning, you'd been so nervous about, well, I mean, it was the anxiety, clearly. I think it knew it was on borrowed time.
Yeah.
Like, no, I need to stop her from going down to this state, because my life is that part's life was at stake. It was on its way out the door. But yeah, so you were, and then by the end of the session, you were, yeah, I remember you were very lit up and kind of like you looked like a load had come off you.
Yeah, it really had. And it literally has not come back. I mean, that's not to say I have felt anxious between then and now, but it's not the same. It's not the same bit. It's not the same type of anxiety. And like whole kind of thought, it's like whole brain circuits have been deactivated that are no longer operating anymore. Like it's literally, I felt like there was this whole package that has just gone. I can't actually believe that I'm saying this, but yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's remarkable. It's so lovely. I love it when this happens. It's just, it does happen. I wonder if it'd be helpful for people who are relating to your previous experience and feel, they've had similar patterns of overthinking and anxiety. And let me just see what else you said. Needing to stay safe, so kind of high alert situations. So people who are in that now, maybe, and they're listening to this and they're hearing, wow, that this can just happen. You can just like shift this in one session. I think what would be interesting is to just give us a little insight into what life looked like then after that first session, or what, how did you know that it had gone?
So, well, I mean, one thing was just feeling this whole lightness here. Like I just felt like there was a tension and a feeling of anxiety that was completely absent.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I can say I just knew that something really had shifted. I felt a very deep relaxation in myself. And I felt it was weird because I felt like exactly the same person. In one way, everything just felt so normal. It wasn't like, oh, I'm a completely different person. Everything felt so normal, but there was just like a layer that wasn't there anymore, that was like screening between me and, I don't know, reality or something. And I just felt I just found myself instantly doing things in a very relaxed way, just because I enjoyed them, not because I thought, oh, that would be a good thing for me to do. So I watched telly with my daughter that evening, whereas before I was not very good to watch television with your daughter because, really, like, we should be talking, we should be like doing something more. It was always like, well, we should be doing this. I was like, television was a bit of a kind of like, I don't know, like, how was the word? I would like to mean watching television because I thought it wasn't a very good thing to do
Yeah.
because it wasn't about personal connection. It was about just kind of dumbing down and zoning out. And that's not a very good thing to do. I shouldn't
Mm,
encourage that. I just wanted to, it would just be fun to watch telly. So we just put on like a nature documentary and watch that. And we had just a really nice, relaxed time together. And I just, oh, I can just enjoy life without putting a noise like a should of what would be a good thing to do or not. So
yeah.
that was just instantly, and I just found myself able to just kind of really openly relate to people without having a dialogue behind of what I should be saying, or like, oh, it would be a good thing to say this now, or be like, it was like I had this constant like, and that's why I kind of thought it was like, could it be autism or something? Because I'd read something that like people, if people are not very confident socially, they'll have always like a voice. They need to tell themselves how to interact. But I think it was just like from a very young age, I tried to be really responsible, and my kind of left brain or the conscious brain had like kicked in, was like
Yeah.
telling me what to do or not in order to be good.
Yeah.
And it was just like that. So I could just approach everything in a much more relaxed way, I think. I mean, of course, my life still goes up and down. So, I've definitely had downs as well. It's not like, oh, everything's just been like 100% amazing since that. But it's just like that thing isn't bothering me. The
Mm,
other thing I just want to say really specifically was that I've had like since I lost my dad, like age 11, I've had this hair pulling habit, which has got a name, trichotillomania, I think. I only realized recently what it was. I was just like, oh, I really wish I didn't do that. Um, and it would get worse at times of stress, but it was kind of always there. And it was like instantly after the therapy, and this wasn't the intention of having the therapy, instantly, like I haven't done it once since.
yeah.
And I understand that can be quite a hard habit to shift, but it
Right.
was obviously very strongly embedded in this pattern of control and anxiety, that it was like something that I did to relieve the anxiety. But it's like that's another brain circuit. If I say a brain circuit's gone, it's like that whole pattern of like trigger and response and reinforcement has gone.
Yeah.
It's just not there. So that's a very striking example, I think.
It's amazing. It was a complete side effect, wasn't it?
Mm,
We didn't focus on that at all, and it just resolved itself, yeah, by
mm,
chance. Well, it's
yeah,
chance,
that's
but
part of the package
as
of it.
part
Yeah,
of it, yeah.
yeah.
Um, how about the kind of people-pleasing behavior that you reported from the beginning? How did that shift?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, it did. And again, it was all like, and so it was so gentle as well. It wasn't like I got up the next day and said, right, I'm not pleasing anyone anymore. it, it was just kind of, it just became apparent in a very gentle and natural way that um I could just, I don't know how to explain it really. I could just do things. I could take responsibility for my own things and allow other people to take responsibility for those things. And if they needed help, I'd
Mm,
help them, but it just wasn't from a space of kind of going, oh, I need to make everything all right for you. I
yeah.
was like, well, do you want me to help you with that?
Mm,
Without the kind of, yeah, without the anxiety that was fueling it maybe before.
yeah.
So, I mean, maybe in some ways, maybe I'm more available to help other people
Yeah.
because it's coming from a
Interesting.
different space. Yeah. But
Like
also
not
letting
needing it.
go.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, so letting go of whether it was pleasing someone by doing something for them or trying to please someone by doing what they thought I should be doing.
Yeah,
All of those kind of things.
yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. And I'd be curious, and people listening might be also curious to hear how if this has impacted, you mentioned about meditation and your spiritual practice, have you noticed any difference in that department?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, just the next day when I sat down to meditate, I just kind of felt like, ooh, I just had a different quality. Like I think I was just trying too hard. But I'm so much more relaxed now. I'm again, now you have good days and bad days. It's not like, oh, I'm just like 100% in the zone. But it's not being fueled by trying to be good. I must meditate to be good. It's like, well, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy connecting for that sense of connection I feel a lot more authentic in my practice, an ability to go deeper, and I can feel like it's already just more effective in terms of how it's transforming my experience of myself. And yeah, so that's been like, yeah, that's been one of the best things actually about it. I really, yeah, I've always felt like in my spiritual practice, I can't, yeah, there's just something I can't get to.
Mm.
And now I feel like I'm totally much more open
Yeah.
to get to that space. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like before there was something blocking you from just fully inhabiting your full expression, fully being able to just be Anna and
Mm,
naturalness somehow. That's the word that comes to me, is like there was, because of all the shoulds and this part that was keeping you in line, in check, and when that's gone, suddenly you can just be.
mm, yeah. Could
Yeah.
I say something about the briefly about the next session that we did?
Please, please.
Because it was I thought, after that I just thought, well, that's it. I'm just like, I'm so happy with where I've got to. That's just become, I can't believe how much that's changed my life. But I did also start kind of thinking, oh, well, actually, there's still like, there's something else that I kind of feel like could be better. I kind of was, what did I do? I think I identified something, because I kind of felt like I then got into a space where I could go back and think about other things, maybe from my life experience, my childhood, that maybe, oh yeah, there's that memory, and I wonder how that has affected. And I was thinking about a space where I do still feel kind of blocked in the way of like, maybe not wanting to stand out, wanting to
Mm.
conform. I've got an element not wanting to kind of have my own ideas and something like that. So I started talking to you about that, and I think I'd like to work with that as well.
Yeah.
It didn't maybe have the same strength of the first session of like, is do or die kind of, not quite, but do or
Yeah.
die, but like, I just thought this would be really good, because I feel like it will enhance my experience of work, and I'm studying for a PhD, and I feel like it would really like allow me to kind of take my work
Yeah.
further and allow myself to kind of make a difference in the world, which is kind of one thing I've really desired for. So we
Mm.
came back and we did some work around creativity and freedom of expression. Um, and yeah, and again, and I had a really profound experience doing the actual session. And afterwards, and I think I didn't have the same kind of strength of experience afterwards in terms of like, boom, this whole part of me has gone. But it's been a very gradual, beautiful unfolding of like, yeah, noticing, um, yeah, giving myself permission to really see myself as a creative person that can have independent ideas that could actually be good ideas. And rather than kind of always think that someone else's idea was always automatically better than mine,
Yeah.
really like allowing myself to be playful.
Yeah.
And I'm having all sorts of wild ideas. I'm like putting that into my PhD, and I've had some real like massive breakthroughs and insights from
Mm.
that in my study as well as in other areas of life. And I just feel like I'm more creative in my parenting and more relaxed, and yeah, able to see the big picture, not doing things from the point of view of like would what do I feel society expects.
Yeah.
So again, that has been like really totally expanding again. And so
Yeah.
yeah, really life enhancing. Well, I mean, I kind of want to say, oh, just go for it, go and see Betty, but like it is obviously a really personal thing for everyone. So like, I think like trust your instinct, and maybe like explore some of the different things that might work for you, and then just like go for what you think works. Now, I would like totally advocate for going to see Betty. And one thing I would say, really, that I valued about the way that you worked with me was how kind of intuitive you were and adaptable. So I could see sometimes maybe things came up in our session that may have been quite unique to me. It might have not have come up in other sessions or something, but the way that you kind of evolved and worked with that so kind of seamlessly, I kind of had enough awareness to really see like how skillful you were at bringing out and working with like random things that had come up that were different or something that I really valued. So I would say if someone was decided that RTT was a thing for them, I would just like 100% recommend working with Betty. I haven't worked with other people, but I just have a really good sense that that's a particular skill that you bring.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
And what's beautiful there, I love that you're not saying go and work with Betty. Like totally don't just do anything without really feeling that it's the right thing. And I think that's the best advice, isn't it? That anyone can give is just trust what feels good. And yeah, if anyone wants to come and talk to me, come and talk to me and see what feels good. But yeah, Anna, it's been such a pleasure really to work with you. And yeah, like you say, things did come up that were new ways. And I think that is one of the things that I maybe do differently. I don't know. I haven't experienced enough of other people. I'm sure there are other people who do similar things, but just I love to see how it's such an honor to see how each person's story comes through. And then yeah, just it's funny, isn't it? Because we're never really that aware of our own ways of being because it's all we've ever known. But yeah, there's something about, and I think again that we're both fellow practitioners in meditation, and I think there's something about just remaining empty and just seeing what comes, and then just dancing with that does kind of describe what I try and do. So yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah, really lovely to work with you and to witness all these lovely blossoming, blooming changes and the joy that you're now bringing. And I can really see the difference. And you know, I wish you all the best and good luck in your PhD and everything that you choose to do. And I'm sure the world will be you know, brighter for it, you know, having your unique expression there. So thanks so much.
Thank you. And yeah, immense gratitude to you, Betty. You've really changed my life or helped me to change my life. Yeah, fully. So yeah, the world's a brighter place for you being in it too.
Oh, bless. Oh, look, we're like a complete love fest. Oh, brilliant.